Today's my topic of presentation is immunization safety surveillance and vaccine pharmacovigilance at our Indian context. So the past 3 years, I was working with Immunization Division, National AUFA Secretariat under Dr. M.K. Agarwal, Joint Commissioner Immunization UIP. And still I am connected with the National AUFA Committee for various activity support, techno managerial support for them. And before that, I was working with UNICEF and Tamil Nadu NHM on various activities on health policy drafting and program planning and implementation. With that, my introduction, I'll go to the presentation. So why we need to have a vaccine pharmacovigilance and immunization safety surveillance? In this presentation, we could understand the definition of vaccine pharmacovigilance and AEFI and know the importance of immunization safety surveillance system in India. And this is a very special area to appreciate need of specialized monitoring vaccine areas and AEFA, especially in the public health imperatives in a large country with a high volume of doses every day. It was given to the public people, both mothers and children. And safety profile of the new vaccine introduction. Whenever there is a new vaccine is going to be launched, we should be very careful, especially in the COVID-19 vaccine and dengue vaccines. They are under the pipeline in India. So introduction to the vaccine pharmacovigilance. Immunization is one of the most effective public health interventions for protecting individual and the public from the vaccine preventable diseases. Immunization has saved millions of lives. Modern vaccines are safe and effective. However, like other medicinal products, vaccines are not completely free from the adverse events and reaction. It has to be monitored and it has to be reported and taken into the concern. Vaccine pharmacovigilance, which includes the surveillance of AEFI and ADR, should be a part of all immunization programs, as this helps to sustain the public confidence on the immunization program. Vaccines used in the national immunization programs are extremely safe and effective. Nevertheless, no vaccine is perfectly safe and it has adverse events may occur. In addition to the vaccine themselves, the process of immunization, which is very critical, and it is a potential source of adverse event reaction may happen. This was one case study report in 1955. One of the vaccine manufacturer Qatar laboratories in USA, they have vaccinated around 40,000 people and they developed abortive polio, and 200 people were permanently paralyzed and 10 of the child were died. And investigation revealed that the production lots of vaccine pools of 12,000 doses contained with live vaccine virus, which is probably a vaccine quality defect related reaction. It was published in article with NIH USA. The next case study in 1992, a hospital in a country with the 5 neonate babies were collapsed after giving BCG vaccination. 4 were resuscitated, 1 died, and we found that a muscle relaxant was used instead of a BCG vaccination. And another country with 21 infants died of 70 infants supposed to be given DTP vaccine. Instead of DTP vaccine, the insulin was stored in the similar vials and the same refrigerator, and many babies died and they have developed the problems, which is an immunization error-related reaction, use of muscle relaxant instead of diluent, immunization error-related reaction in using insulin instead of DTP vaccine. In another recent occurrence in our country, one of the South Indian state particular district, the children were vaccinated with rubella vaccine by the state-owned program. After rubella vaccine, around 12 children, they got allergic reactions and skin reactions, and they have admitted in hospital. And we found that the rubella vaccine was launched in that particular district. And rubella vaccine is containing a gelatin kind of product. Gelatin is a red meat. And this particular district, predominantly the population is a vegetarian population. They have not exposed to any meat and they do not know about the allergic reaction, whether they will get or not. And 12 children were reported during the adolescent rubella vaccine program with allergic reactions. Similar way, another country, the anaphylaxis was not prepared to manage and they have got the anaphylaxis reactions. This can be a vaccine product related reaction. The another country, the case study in 2004, many children were school immunization program, they have got vaccinated, and 44 children hospitalized with hyperventilation and vomiting. And investigation concluded that more than 90% of the cases are anxiety-related reactions because the pre-immunization session was not properly counseled and handled by the immunization session site. It is mainly due to the immunization anxiety-related reactions, and immunization triggered a stress response. So similar with another country, they have a DTP, HIV, hepatitis B vaccination, and followed by that, 6 babies, they have got a problem. And after investigation, 3 of them are coincidental events, and one was anaphylaxis reaction, and 2 cases were inconclusive, whether it is vaccine product related or immunization program related. There is inconclusive documentation was there. Another important thing is SIDS and SUDI, sudden infant death syndrome and sudden unexplained death of infant. Whether these two categories after immunization, if they are getting ADR or AFA, whether it has to be reported or not reported, or whether it is correct or not, it has to be discussed at the policy level. And we have infant death review committees in every district and every state, but whether they do pick up the past medical history of immunization and what vaccination was given, which vaccine session site was given, who has given the vaccination, how it was monitored, this data is not very clear currently. So these are the discussion points for sudden infant death syndrome and sudden unexplained death of infant should be reported in the immunization AEFI or ADR. That is a very big area to monitor the country level IMR and CDR rates. And the definition of vaccine pharmacovigilance, it is mainly defined as the science and activities relating to the detection, assessment, understanding, prevention, and the communication of the adverse event following immunization or any other vaccine or immunization related issues. So this is the vaccine pharmacovigilance definition. And why vaccine pharmacovigilance is very important. Vaccines are usually administered to the healthy population, including infants and pregnant mothers. And vaccines may be administered to the vast majority of the population and large birth cohort to the groups of high risk diseases. And subpopulations may be more susceptible to experience certain kind of AEFI in particular geographic location or a genome people. And the age at the time of immunization may coincide with emerging certain age-related diseases. Like sudden infant death syndrome is very common in the infant period, and neurodevelopmental disorders are very common in the elderly population. So if we give any vaccination this particular age group, it may be the coincidental event of sudden infant death syndrome or neurodevelopmental disorder. Maybe the people they have fixed with vaccine is causing this kind of problems. And immunization with certain vaccines are mandatory in some countries, like yellow fever vaccination in the West African countries. That vaccine may cause adverse event, but still we have to take it, and we have to, whenever there is a travel related thing, it has to be taken very serious concern. And the benefits of the immunization may not be immediately visible, particularly in the large target disease incidence is very low, and the vaccine may elicit herd immunity also. So this is one of the major concern why the vaccine pharmacovigilance is important. And the vaccines are often administered concomitantly with other drugs, especially vitamin A and paracetamol and other drugs whenever there is a needed. So that has a big concern. The other drug may also cause some kind of adverse events, which may cause vaccine adverse event. The administration of live vaccines can lead to the disease caused by the attenuated organisms in vaccines. Other contacts should be differentiated from the coincidental natural infection. We have a lot of references in our country itself. A couple of years back, one particular South Indian state headquarters, the babies, around 93 babies were vaccinated for a immunization session site in urban area. After vaccination, the ANMs are usually give the paracetamol dose for a prophylactic fever. And instead of paracetamol, Tramadol 300 milligram was given for 93 children, and around 36 children, they got a seizures and admitted in a tertiary care center, and 2 babies we lost, and other babies able to recover with antidote and all. We found that narcotic analgesic has been given for the children. The tramadol is not recommended below the 14 years. The wrong drug was given by the ANM. Similar way, we have come across wrong vaccination, the vaccine virus is causing a problem, or natural immunization is causing, natural epidemic disease is causing the problem. Similar way in northeastern countries, when we launched the Japanese encephalitis vaccine in particular state, the natural epidemic was ongoing. That particular time, the state was implemented the JE virus vaccine, and the people blaming that because of the JE vaccine implementation, we are getting more number of fever and other JE related problems. But actually, that time the epidemic was ongoing epidemic and expanded in a massive way. So the people are getting fever and get admitted in the hospitals. Therefore, the AEFI should be recognized in a healthcare provider, and it should be reported to the health system to be monitored in a proper way. Why the adverse drug reactions and vaccine pharmacovigilance is important to reported healthcare professional to ensure the patient safety and to monitor the drug safety in the health system. How vaccines and other drugs are totally different, because vaccines are given to the healthy people in a large population, but the drugs are given to the only sick people and ill people in a smaller population. The vaccines are lower risk of tolerance, but the other drugs are more tolerant of risk, and a limited number of products in a single dose, multiple antigens can be given. But drugs are basically specific drugs can be given to the specific subpopulation for treatment protocol. Greater potential for temporal coincidental. Here the treatment over the time less coincidental after single dose. The vaccines are more prone for programmatic error, but the drugs are less prone to the administrative error. Cold chain is often very critical in vaccines, but in the drugs there is no cold chain or handling less critical. And vaccines are biological product more prone to the variation and instability during the storage, but chemical products, drugs especially, they are more stable and less prone to the instability. And vaccines are given commonly in the mass campaigns and the mass vaccination programs in a short period and in defined population. But drugs are very hardly given as a mass drug administration, except albendazole kind of things. And issues with coordination with the public health system, NRA, National Regulatory Authority, and manufacturers in vaccine. And the drugs are less issues with coordination between health system and government, NRA, and manufacturer. So these are the major difference between vaccines and other drugs. So vaccines adverse drug reaction has to be monitored and reported to the appropriate channels of reporting mechanism. So this was the first origin of ADR reporting system in around 1957. Dr. William McBride in Australia, he reported one letter. It's not a reporting system, just a letter to his colleagues, says that he was finding congenital abnormalities in the pregnant woman born with the babies with abnormal limb was found by him, and he wrote a letter to the medical community. That was the first ADR reporting in the world, which makes that the thalidomide tragedy in 1957 to 1961, and the drug was banned and removed from the circulation. Another important thing is MMR vaccine and autism. So one Dr. Andrew Wakefield, he published the Lancet publication along with his colleagues. MMR vaccine is causing autism and other quality spectrum related disorder. And the Lancet paper was partially retracted in 2004 and fully retracted in 2010, when the Lancet editor-in-chief described that this is utterly false research. And Wakefield was found guilty by medical council and serious professional misconduct in May 2010, and his name was erased from General Medical GMC Council UK, meaning that no longer he can practice as a doctor, and the original paper was a fraudulent. This all data was given by one lawyer to sue the manufacturing company to get more money through this MMR is causing autism. So this was the real-time issue with the vaccine-related ADR. The another interesting story with the Pandemrix, one vaccine manufacturer, they have manufactured a Pandemrix brand of vaccine. Usually the seasonal influenza vaccine has to be taken every year after the virus update given by the WHO. But this manufacturer says that one vaccine is enough for lifelong protection, and they have launched this vaccine. And after that, this vaccine is causing narcolepsy in Scandinavian countries, and the same drug was removed from the circulation in 2011. So this drug is not causing other population, only for the Scandinavian population it causing narcolepsy, even though WHO recommended to remove this vaccine from the market. So this drug is causing T cell autoimmunity to hippocrotin and cross reactivity, which is causing narcolepsy in a subpopulation of the Scandinavian country. The latest one, 2 days back in December 17, 2020, severe allergic reactions in US healthcare worker after getting a Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine, they got anaphylaxis reaction. So this is a serious concern, potential concern when they launch a new vaccine into the population. So we do not know whether the immunization is safe, and mothers and children's huge number of people waiting in the queue for immunization session site, they will think whether it is really safe or not. Why vaccine safety monitoring is important? First, to do no harm, which was given by the Hippocratic Oath in 470 BC itself. The goal of AEFI and ADR surveillance, the major goal of AEFI and ADR surveillance is early detection and analysis of adverse event and appropriate quick response in order to decrease the negative impact on the immunization health programs of individuals and the immunization program. To establish the immunization safety surveillance, the clear articulation of objectives should be generated and support the health workers to encourage them to report AEFI. Currently, what happened, most of the ANMs and the field level workers and the nurses, they are feared to report AEFI because it may get a negative impact on their job, and they may be removed from the job. They have a fear on reporting AEFI system rather than strengthening the health system. Pharmacovigilance is a practice of detecting, assessing, understanding, reporting, and preventing adverse drug reaction, including reactions to the vaccines. So pharmacovigilance now the integral part of drug regulatory activity as well as the vaccine safety. In country like India, we have various phases of clinical trials. But what really happens after the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, the manufacturer, especially the medical products, pharmaceutical manufacturer, when it comes to the phase 4, nobody is interested in having a post-marketing surveillance and hand-holding support after the product is launched in the market. A very less priority for the manufacturers to get the safety profile and continuous monitoring in the post-marketing surveillance period, especially when they launch a new drug or new vaccine. So the main objective of reporting ADR and AEFI is the risk-benefit assessment. When the product is giving more benefit and less risk potentially, it can be implemented in the country system. When there is a high risk and low benefit, actually it has to be removed from the market. So it's mainly depends upon the vaccine efficacy and the vaccine associated risk, how both has to be balanced on weightage and benefits and risk, and it has to be regulated by the drug authorities, must establish the risk benefit assessment of immunization of a vaccine. So this particular picture is very important to understand risk benefit assessment. One fellow is fitting an outdoor AC unit with around 50-60 kg of outdoor unit, fixing that unit with the help of one ladder, and the ladder is held by the two other people. So he believed that the two people won't cheat him. They can hold the ladder so that he can fix the outdoor unit. That kind of risk he is taking, and what the benefit he has to think about that. The similar way, the another 2-3 people, they are having a alcoholic drink and they need a mobile has to be charged continuously, but they are putting the mobile charger through the charging wire unit with the help of two chappals, which is semiconductor or non-conducting the electricity, so that it won't get a shock for them. So this kind of risk they are taking, and they understand the risk benefit situation in the context. In country like India, we have two kind of systems. One is ADR surveillance system through the Pharmacovigilance Program of India, through Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission, and another one is the AEFI surveillance system through Universal Immunization Program by the Immunization Division at national level, state level, and district level. Both are monitored by the CDCSO, Central Drugs Standard Control Organization, at the National Regulatory Authority, and the DCGI, drugs including vaccines. All other organizations, all the organizations under the Ministry of Health and Family of the Government of India for regulatory action and further process. Next is we can focus on ADR surveillance system, how it happens in India. The pharmacovigilance program was launched with a mission to promote patient safety in 1.27 billion people of India. Adverse drug reactions are reported from all over the country to the National Coordination Center PVPA program unit at Ghaziabad nearby New Delhi, and which was collaborated with the Global ADR Monitoring Center UMC Sweden and contribute the global ADR database. And NCC PVPA monitors ADR among the Indian population and helps the regulatory act authority of the India CDCSO in taking decision for a safety profile of the drugs and medicines. Since its initiation in 2010, the Pharmacovigilance Program of India has been enriching the quality of performance, expanding the field. Around currently around 270 ADR monitoring centers are established all over the India to get the drug safety profile reporting system. So the National Monitoring on Vaccine Safety, we have three parallel organizations, the immunization, the Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission and the National Coordination Center Pharmacovigilance Program of India, and the adverse event following immunization AEFI Secretariat at national level with the Immunization Division, Ministry of Health, and the Central Drug Standard Control Organization, CDCSO, at DCGI. The three organizations parallelly working together to improve the safety of the drug and the vaccines and immunization safety. So this is the AEFI, serious AEFI case notification report has to be reported through the ADR monitoring center. Mostly the ADR monitoring centers are located in medical college hospital or a tertiary care hospital or large public sector hospital. They can report any adverse event following drug or vaccine. So this data goes to the National Coordination Center, PVPA at Ghaziabad. Further, the data will be analyzed and uploaded to the VG-Flow, ICSR, Individual Case Safety Report, and this report will be uploaded into the WHO Uppsala Monitoring Center. They are the pioneer of a data repository for a vaccine pharmacovigilance related database. So the data channel from Indian database to go to the WHO Uppsala Monitoring Center, and further we can analyze the database from which country, how many reports are generated, and what kind of ADS they are getting, and what drug was given. Everything we can analyze from the VG-Flow and VG-Base and VG-Data. So the reporting channels, we can have a mobile app, a PVPA mobile app. Anybody can download the Google Play Store. They can report, any physician or a health professional, they can report ADR. Similar way, there is a toll-free number from 9:30 to 5:30 p.m. This toll-free number they can report, and it can be reported through the telephonic channel also. And currently, the global repository, we have contributed around 76 drug alert to the global repository from Indian ADR reporting system, and there are 38 prescription package insert was changed by the regulatory authority CDCSO, and we have picked up 5 signals from Indian context and reported to the global repository. So the one example is anti-rabies vaccine is causing erythema multiforme. So the packet insert was changed by the government of India, which may causing risk of erythema multiforme. The same thing was updated by the WHO Pharmaceuticals newsletter. And globally, wherever there is anti-rabies vaccine, the packet insert was saying that risk of getting erythema multiforme will be the alert, drug alert was given to the all over the manufacturer. Next is the AEFI surveillance system in the immunization program, universal immunization program. So this is the revised national immunization program, including the new vaccines like MR vaccine, JE vaccine, PCV booster, and recently the TD vaccine. TT was changed into TD vaccine, and rotavirus, many states it was launched, and PC was launched in many states, in newer states. And apart from that, currently the pipeline with COVID vaccine also going to be launched in soon. So universal immunization program, it's one of the largest public health program in the world, and we have a 2.6 crore newborns and 3 crore of pregnant mothers targeted annually to get a vaccination. And there are 9 million immunizations are being held annually, and 8 major vaccines and along with the 4 optional vaccines are being implemented in the states and district. And 90 lakh session planned in every year, and 27,000 cold chain points are being there in all over the country for distributing the vaccine. And India is the largest manufacturer of the vaccines and the functional national regulatory authority. So we should have a very strong vaccine safety related issues and to be monitored and reported. And immunization, why the people are not getting immunization? There was an analysis done by the government of India, which says that 19% of the non-vaccinated people are saying that they have a AEFA apprehension. Because of that, they are not coming to the session site to get a vaccination. So this AEFA surveillance system can recognize the program errors and storage, handling, administration, and they take a corrective action to investigate known coincidental event causing concern to the parent community and document the convey caused to the parents and community to maintain the vaccine confidence and capture rare serious adverse event undetectable during the clinical trials, maybe a potential signal from the vaccine. So the purpose is maintaining the vaccine confidence and stop false blaming on the vaccine and identifying, correcting the immunization program related errors and detect the new signals from the new vaccines. So AFA surveillance does not mean that to blame the field staff, but rather to improve the health system overall quality of the immunization service. That is the main purpose of AEFA surveillance. And the definition of AEFA surveillance, and it's any untoward medical occurrence which follows immunization and which does not necessarily have a causal relationship with usage of vaccination. So any adverse event following immunization, it has to be reported, whether it is vaccine related or coincidental. That will be done by the causality assessment at state level technical committee and the national level technical committee. So basically, adverse event may be a clinical symptom or a sign or a laboratory finding, abnormal laboratory finding, or a disease condition has to be reported in the AEFI surveillance. We have a types of AEFI, maybe minor, severe, and serious. Severe and serious has to be definitely reported to the AEFI surveillance system, and the minor can be reported to the PHC level AEFI register that can take a locally corrective actions can be taken. So the minor adverse events mainly common self-limiting local pain or swelling, injection site, fever, irritability. This can be treated as a symptomatically with the paracetamol, cold sponging. As should the parents and caregivers, this can be documented at the PHC level AFA register to monitor further. Severe and serious has to be reported through the AFA surveillance system. Serious AFA is usually death, hospitalization, cluster, disability, and media consent, parental consent, and community consent has to be reported as a serious AFA. Severe AFA, most probably the minor AFA, potentially progressed to seek a healthcare professional or especially PHC, OPD service or a medical doctor consultation. That has to be taken as a severe AFA. Mostly non-hospitalized OPD cases has to be reported if there is a persistent fever or persistent cry, a kind of situation. All serious and severe AFA has to be reported to the AFA surveillance system. So basically, the cause-specific WHO classification was provided for the AFA classification. The first is the vaccine product-related reaction. An AFA that caused precipitated by the vaccine due to one or more of the inherent properties of the vaccine product, which is mainly the vaccine product-related reaction. The next is the vaccine quality defect-related reaction. AEFA that can be caused by the precipitated by the vaccine that is due to the one or more quality defects of the vaccine product, including its administration device and provided by the manufacturer, which is potential quality defect related reaction. We come across recently from one particular BCG vaccine manufacturer that vaccine is causing around more number of BCG adenitis in particular few of the district in one South Indian state, and they have reported. In another state, North Indian state, they have come up with injectable AD syringe related injection site abscesses because the tip of the needle was broken down and went inside the muscle and it causing the injection site abscesses. So both are drug related, the vaccine related. Another one is a device related quality defect related reaction is happening. And immunization error related reaction usually by the inappropriate vaccine handling, prescribing, or administration by the nature or it preventable. It's a very preventable immunization error during the monitoring system. And immunization anxiety related reaction usually happens in the older children when there is a mass vaccination campaign is being held. Anxiety related reactions are very common. It has to be counseled before the vaccination and the session site has to be properly planned. And coincidental event are also very common when the other disease or other disease conditions may cause a reaction after the vaccination. And this has to be reported and classified properly. So the vaccine product related reaction example, the extensive limb swelling after the DTP containing vaccination is one of the example for vaccine product related reaction. And vaccine quality defect related reaction, one of the example is IPV vaccine was launched in one country, then around 40,000 mild polio and 200 people paralyzed and 10 were died due to the defective manufacturing of the vaccine. And immunization error related reaction, like injection site abscess happening in the baby, and the immunization anxiety related reaction, vasovagal syncope or adolescent vasovagal syncope in the adolescent population when there is a mass vaccination program, like even if they are getting vaccination before that they can have anxiety. And the last is a coincidental event, the other disease like a malaria endemic area. When the vaccine was given, the fever is caused by malaria, not by the vaccine, but the people can blame that vaccine is causing fever. So immunization anxiety related reaction is very common in the elderly adult, elderly child or older children, and more common in the old children. A fainting attack, vasovagal syncope or a syncopal attack, hyperventilation syndrome, seizure-like movements, headache, dizziness. These kind of symptoms can be happen, and needle phobia may be there. So this has to be done in a proper counseling system before giving the mass vaccination campaign. The another one is immunization error related reactions. Many times the non-sterile injection may be used by the ANMs and the reconstitution error may happen. Recently, we come across the rotavirus vaccine reconstituting agent was used for MR vaccine reconstituted, and MR vaccine was given, and the potential MR vaccine potency will be query in this situation. And injection site, incorrect injection site also may be common in our Indian system. We come across a lot of injections that are given in wrong injection site, wrong limb, and wrong route of administration are happening. And the vaccine transport and storage incorrectly, that is also happen in extensive hot climatic condition, especially in the May, June month, and the potential vaccine cold chain may not be maintained. And the contraindications are ignored when the immunization is being given, which is a serious concern. Recently, we come across one boy was vaccinated with the BCG vaccination, and after that, the boy was having a serious, severe combined immunodeficiency syndrome. And the boy's parents were sued against the pediatrician, says that the doctor is ignored the contraindications when they give a BCG vaccination before that, and they are asking around 25 lakhs against the pediatrician, says that the contraindications ignored, and my baby got a vaccination. Because of that, they are getting they got a systemic BCG, which require a bone marrow transplantation and lifelong support in the medical system. So immunization error-related reactions has to be reported, and these are the preventable AEFI when there is a proper planning of immunization session site, storage, and monitoring system. And which adverse event has to be reported? All severe serious AEFI has to be reported, and signals and events associated with the newly introduced vaccine has to be reported, and AEFI that may have caused by the immunization error has to be reported, and unexplained cost during first 30 days after the vaccination has to be reported. Events causing a significant potential parental concern or a media concern or a community concern, that also has to be reported. Currently, we have a lot of news media channels. They are picking up the vaccine, anti-vaccine lobbying will be there, and they report a smaller events or major events frequently reported. So this has to be reported to the AEFI surveillance system to go for a causality assessment. What is the main reason for this kind of adverse events? So basics of the AEFI surveillance, it has to be detected at the session site level by the ANM or MOPHC. And after detection, it has to be recorded in the PHC level AEFI register, HMIS reporting, VPD surveillance, RCH online portal and all. Once recorded the AEFI, it has to be reported within 48 hours. A CRF case reporting form has to be filled up and it has to be sent to the district immunization officer or DRCHO, and further it has to be entered into the SafeVac online portal of the reporting system. Similar way, the ADR reporting center, they can pick up the case and they can report a serious case notification form, and it can be reported through the VigiFlow for individual case safety reports. And further investigation has to be done within 10 days by the technical committee at the district level under the pediatrician and the district immunization officer. And causality assessment has to be done by the state AFA committee and national AFA committee parallelly, and they will further corrective actions can be taken at district level or state level or national level. So the reporting timeline is basically within 24 hours, the AFA has to be picked up and reported, and CRF has to reach the district immunization officer within 48 hours, and the 10 days, the preliminary case investigation form, and the final case investigation form within 70 days. And the causality assessment has to be completed by 100 days. It has to be completed by the state level and national level. The organogram of the AEFS surveillance at the national level, the immunization division is the main pillar, and they have a AEFS, National AEFS Secretariat, and 4 zonal AEFS senior consultants, and NRA regulatory partners will be there in the National AEFA committee. The National AEFA Technical Collaborating Center was located at the Lady Harrington Medical College, New Delhi, and state level AFA committee and state level collaboration center with the state level medical colleges at the state capital, and district level AFA committee also under the district immunization officer. So this program is designed in this organizational structure at national level and state level and district level. There is a district and state and national AFA committee. The composition is mainly by the pediatrician as a chairperson, epidemiologist and public health specialist will be there, and a drug regulatory authority representative will be there, a physician, microbiologist, pathologist, forensic expert, neurologist, cold chain officer, IDSP program officer, and the local bodies, corporations, and the IAP, IMA representative, UNICEF WHO representative, and the vaccine pharmacologist from the ADR monitoring center. These all will be the technical member of the state or district or national AFA committee members, and they will do the classification of AEFA or ADR periodically to complete the causality assessment. So how frequent AEFA may occur, that is the biggest question. So every, it's mainly depends on the dosage of the vaccine. So very common adverse events can be picked up in 1 in 10 doses, and the common will be 1 in 100 doses. Uncommon will be 1 in 1,000 doses. Rare and serious adverse event has to be picked up in 1 in 10,000 doses. So at least we should ensure that every 10,000 doses, one AEFA has to be picked up in our surveillance system to ensure the patient safety and the vaccine safety. It may be a minor, it may be a severe, or it may be a serious AEFA, but we have to pick up one case per every 10,000 vaccine doses. For India like a country, we have a huge million doses of vaccination every day was given, but there is a lot of picking up the AEFA cases in the surveillance system in many of the states. So the serious AEFA will be the 0.01% of the vaccine doses, and the serious and severe AEFA will be the 0.1% of the vaccine doses, and minor and severe and serious altogether it may be 1% of the vaccine doses. The cases has to be reported in www.safevac.nhb.gov.in. So this is the reporting mechanism for AEFA reports through online portal. Only the district immunization officer will be given username and password. They only can enter the data. And this is the data surveillance of the AEFA cases reported from since 2002 and 2001 to current date. We have very good progressive improvement on AEFA surveillance system till 2020. And further 2021, we have a mass vaccination on COVID vaccines, which can impact the AEFA surveillance system further improvement. So in the causality assessment, they check the eligibility criteria of the AEFA case, and the checklist will be verified for the AEFA case, and algorithm will be followed, and the final classification will be done by the state AEFA committee or national AEFA committee. So this is the rough template of the AEFA cause-specific AEFA classification. If the consistent causal association with immunization will be classified into A category, intermediate category will be the B category, and C category will be the coincidental, and D category will be the unclassified. So for example, a thrombocytopenia after the MMR vaccination will be the vaccine product related reaction, which will be classified as A1. Suppose the paralytic polio caused by the incomplete IPV inactivation by the manufacturer, which is a vaccine quality defect related, which is classified as A2 category. And transmission of the infection by the contaminated multi-dose vial, which is the immunization program related error, which is classified as A3. Vasovagal syncope in adolescent mass vaccination campaign, which will be classified as A4 as immunization anxiety related reaction. Again, in intermediate category, the irritable bowel syndrome after the tetanus toxoid vaccine, hypothetical and unproved so far. So a potential signal may be there. It has to be reported and it has to be evaluated by the National Regulatory Authority. The other one is a B2 category, which is inconsistent between whether it's a vaccine is caused to the problem or the other disease is caused to the problem. We do not know. So like a thrombocytopenia after MMR vaccine in the dengue endemic area, whether the dengue is causing the fever or dengue is causing the thrombocytopenia or MMR vaccine is causing a thrombocytopenia, we don't have a clear evidence. So that will be classified as a B2 category. Coincidental category is a pure other disease is causing the problem, like a fever occurs after vaccination in the malaria endemic area, and blood sample proved and isolated the parasite, which is a coincidental event. So all the causality assessment done completed cases will be uploaded in the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare website. Every quarterly, it will be uploaded in the website. It will be decoded format. The open database is available at the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare website and declared for causality assessment. And the corrective actions can be taken at various levels: patient immunization session site level, immunization program related error can be training and coordination, and the coincidental event can improve the confidence on vaccine. And vaccine related reactions, higher adverse events in a specific vaccine lot. It can be a manufacturer error or a program related error, cold chain error, that can be monitored, and vaccine testing can be done. Vaccine quality testing can be done on CDL Kasoli, and investigation with the manufacturer, and further the specific lot or the vaccine batch number can be removed from the circulation by the regulatory authority. So the fine summary about the immunization safety surveillance, we have a two surveillance system in India. One is the ADR surveillance system under PVPA program. Another one is AEFA surveillance system under UAP program. In ADR surveillance, both drugs and vaccines can be reported, but in AEFA surveillance, only vaccines can be reported, both UAP vaccines and the non-UAP vaccines, both the public vaccinations and also private vaccinations. PVP ADR monitoring centers are reporting vaccine ADRs through the VigiFlow software in a global PV database. Only the medical college hospital, tertiary care centers, they have this access. Other PH level, it is not available. And AEFA surveillance system, it can be picked up at the PHC level or subcenter level. It can be reported to the district immunization officer. And further, SafeVac NHV.gov, the login username, they can report it. ADR monitoring centers responsible for vaccine ADRs to National Coordination Center is the main nodal center at the national level. But here, the National AEFA Secretariat is the national nodal center to pick up the all serious and severe AEFI can be reported. Here, the serious and non-serious can be reported in ADR surveillance, but here only serious and severe can be reported. Minor can be picked up at the PHC level. Here, MEDRA classification is used for ADR surveillance, a medical dictionary for regulatory activities. But in AEFA surveillance system, we have a Brighton classification used for the clinical sign and symptom for standardization of the definition of AEFI. In ADR surveillance system, the preliminary causality assessment already done at the time of reporting, but in WHO AEFA surveillance, WHO cause-specific classification will be done at the state level and the national level after investigation reports are received. Both parallel reporting system goes to the CDCSO as a national regulatory authority to take necessary actions and appropriate corrective actions. And summary of vaccine related ADR rates are available in the WHO website. Anybody can go and review the vaccine safety reports, initiative tools for safety reports on vaccine info sheet. Anybody can go and look at the rate of vaccine ADRs per dose or per vaccine antigen and all. And there are WHO vaccine safety basic courses available, 6 hours basic course on vaccine safety basic course, online course is available. Interested people can go and register the course anytime they can complete. The another one is a vaccine AEFI investigation course. That is also e-learning course. Interested people can log in and complete their training module in the WHO investigation AEFI course. The third one is a software guided AEFI causality assessment. That is also available in WHO website. We can go through that and do the causality assessment as dummy cases or real cases. So the main conclusion on vaccine safety surveillance is vaccine pharmacovigilance is a very important part of the vaccine regulation, as well as the a country like India, the huge number of vaccines and vaccine antigens are being implemented. And the methods for vaccine pharmacovigilance need to evolve in line with the technological advancement and production of new vaccines. And what are the challenges in immunization safety surveillance? In India, we have a two parallel surveillance system like ADR and AEFI. Really, it is not integrated both together so that we can get a better picture on the safety surveillance system. And all serious and severe AEFI needs to be reported in the PVP also. Why? Because of this database goes to the WHO UMC repository for monitoring safety purposes by WHO. And mainly the WHO aims to ensure the medicines and vaccines and other health products for supply and low-income countries, quality assurance and safety profile of the drug and all the population. And the weak surveillance of surveillance and reporting in ADR and AEFI, which is a very big gap in the given volume of vaccine doses in the country. And the role of IIHMR in immunization safety surveillance, we can provide the techno-managerial support of states and the national level for immunization safety surveillance committees, and look for a partnership with the PVP ADR monitoring centers like a medical college hospital or large tertiary care centers for research proposals and training, and a partnership with the pharma companies, especially for the post-marketing surveillance on ADR surveillance for a new drug when they launch or new vaccine is being launched. And currently, we have a pipeline of Covishield and Covaxin. Both vaccines will be probably at the end of February, maybe introduced, and January maybe they will get the emergency use approval by the regulatory authority. So the database has to be get revamped and get ready for picking up the all relevant ADR and AEFI has to be picked up for the new vaccine introduction. Apart from that, we have a PGDM pharmaceutical management, a specialization in IIHMR, which can be have a module on ADR surveillance and drug safety signal detection module for the PGDM graduates. So these are the roles may be possible by the IIHMR. Thank you.